Welcome back to eSIM Studios. The Google Pixel Watch 4 was just released today. Just got this in the mail. Let's do a quick unboxing, review some of the specs that the new watch has. Now, I know it might look the same, and I get it. It does, basically. But they have made some really critical and crucial changes to this watch that I'm interested in seeing how it performs, and we will do a review down the road. This is going to be an unboxing. We'll go over the specs, we'll go over the upgrades, and all that good stuff. So let's see. This is the Pixel Watch 4, the Mantra Google Pixel 4. Okay, 45 millimeter. This is the Wi-Fi version. This is not. They do have a LTE version. Interesting how wearables haven't really moved to 5G yet. They're still on 4G LTE, but it is what it is. This is not the 4G. This is the Wi-Fi version. It is the satin Moonstone aluminum case. Moonstone active band includes Pixel Watch 4, small and large wristbands, Pixel Watch quick charge dock. Interesting. This is a 45 millimeter. Now, they've increased the display size by 1 millimeter. So last year, they had a 41 and 44. Now, I think they still have a 41 millimeter, but this is a 45 millimeter. Now, what we'll do is obviously open it up, but what I'm going to show you is something really cool that they did with the AMOLED display here. Now, speaking of that AMOLED display, it is a 1.4 inch, 456 by 456 pixels. It is 12.3 millimeters thick. It is 37 grams for the 45 millimeter and 31 grams for the 41 millimeter. It does have Android Wear OS 6, 32 gigs of onboard storage, obviously no SD card slot. It does have 2 gigs of RAM. It does have the new Snapdragon W5 Gen 2 with a 455 milliamp per hour battery. And this is that's a pretty cool setup. Last year it was just one long container that came out, and now they separate it by 2. So let's dive in here and see. I'm assuming this is the watch. Yep. Wow, the dial does look noticeably bigger, even though it is a 1 millimeter increase in size. It looks pretty freaking big. I mean, okay, so let's see what comes in here. We have, ooh, that's nice. I'm recording on my Pixel, so I would show you. This is the same kind of moonstone color that's on the Pixel 10 series. Same kind of color, basically. Now, this is that's the small wristband. It looks big. Wow, so it got considerably bigger this year. That looks like the large wristband. Not sure if it's coming through well on the video, but that looks large, and it says small here. So, well, we shall see what both of them look like. This should get much better battery life. So, as I mentioned, the W5 Gen 2 Snapdragon CPU, they did modify that slightly from last year. Now, cool thing is that it has an LTPO AMOLED display, just like your phones, how they ramp up to. Now, I don't think this has 120 hertz. I think this has, well, I don't know. I don't know what the hertz is on here. I doubt it's 120. It's probably 60, right? I would hope 90, but probably 60. But LTPO AMOLED display on here gets up to 3,000 nits brightness, peak brightness, which is pretty freaking bright. It has a pixel density of 320 ppi. Now, another cool thing on this display that they've upgraded, it does have cornering Gorilla Glass 5 on here. So, scratch resistant, shatter resistant. Upgraded the Gorilla Glass up front. Let me see what else comes in here. So it says it comes with a dock. What is this? That's got to be the large wristband. So this is the large. That's the small. And what do we got here? Okay, interesting. So no more stupid little disc that you place well, maybe it is. I don't know. Let's plug it in and see how this works, because I'm interested to see. I have a Type-C plug-in right here. Let's plug this in. Okay. Now it probably charges on these two connectors that I was looking at earlier. Now, I don't know. I wonder if you can charge it either way. Oh, that goes there. And what do you put this? Oh, cool. So it's like, so it is a dock. I was like, where's the dock? But that is a dock. So you have your Google branded IC. So once you have the bands on there, it'll basically go like that. You can put it bedside. You can put it on the side of your desk. And it basically will charge like that with the band on it, you know, like that, or however you want to set it. I was hoping they upgraded the way that you put these bands on, because out of any smartwatch, now I'm not a typical smartwatch user, but the Pixel watches that I have used, they're a pain in the ass. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like to use smartwatches, well, specifically Pixel watches, is because of the way that you put these on. Now, here is something I want you to keep in mind. If you get aftermarket bands, look, these are not cheap. These are like $60. These bands from Google, from their official website, from their web store, they're like $60. Now, you can go on Amazon, you can go on AliExpress and get, or whatever you want, Temu, and get cheap bands for your Pixel Watch. But here's what you have to watch out for. You see here how the connector is right there. You see the teeth that are on there? Now, this is metal, and that's imperative for the Pixel Watch. So I love getting good deals, getting cheaper stuff. Like, there's no way I would pay $60 for this. It's basically a strip of silicone for $60. But here's where you're going to want to watch out. Not imitation, but the cheaper off-brand Pixel bands, meaning if you go on AliExpress and get one for like $2, or on Amazon for like, $15 or $18, anything that's non-Google, it's going to have plastic teeth here, a little plastic connector, and that's going to break and or bend over time. And if you try and force it in here, it's very, very tricky getting these on. And the imitation and or aftermarket watch bands are plastic. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten an aftermarket watch band stuck on my Pixel. Well, it's my wife's Pixel Watch. She has me change her bands all the time. I thought I screwed myself or the watch. I could not get one of these aftermarket bands off. I put it on there crooked, or it went in crooked, or I think 2 out of the 3 teeth connected, but the other one did not, and it was plastic on the aftermarket. And it literally got stuck. I damn near broke the watch trying to get the stupid band off. So these are fairly easy. I'm just saying, for aftermarket stuff, make sure it's metal. If this is plastic, don't even attempt to put it on. So here's how it goes. So you have this button that you push down, and it basically releases the mechanism that locks down on the teeth. So it enables you to slide the band in or out. And what you're going to want to do is start on the button by pushing it down by this tooth right here and slide it in. So push down the button with the band and then slide it into place. So let's try it. Okay. See, they're not too bad with the stock bands, but again, the aftermarket ones, oh my God, don't even attempt. It is not fun. I just hate this. That's one thing I wouldn't mind. That's one thing I wouldn't mind companies copying Apple from, is their band connectors. Why can't you just put a button down here or a button down here and one that just snaps on? Why you gotta push and rotate and make sure it snaps into place? And here's the headache, getting these off. So you actually have to push in this little unlock mechanism in reverse how I put it on. So you have to push this in and then slide it out. And sometimes you'll have to get a metal pin. That's one thing I have issues with these Pixel watches. look how much this rotates. Like, that should be able to sit in place. Seems really flimsy, like it's not sitting in there properly. I mean, it is, but it feels like it's not. Like, y'all see how much this is flexing? Look at that. I don't like that. Now, maybe a tooth is not in properly, but watch. Comes off rather easy, but you do pinch yourself. I just pinched my finger. Not a fan of these, but there's nothing we can do about it. If you want a Pixel Watch, you got to deal with this. So let's put it back into place, pushing it in, rotate it into place. Now, all teeth are in. All 3 teeth are in. And look how loose that is. Don't like that. So this band is loose. Can you see that? Let me try to hold the bezel still and rotate this. Y'all see how much that rotates? Not good. Almost like a cheap feel. Has a cheap, and both sides now, I can tell, are not. Well, they are in. All 3 teeth are in, and it's fully connected. And it's not, you can feel it wanting to come out. So, not real good there. Doesn't seem like a tight fit. Anyways, that's not good. And this one's worse. Y'all see that? And again, if you get aftermarket bands, it's going to be worse than this. I don't remember it flexing, moving around as much as this. The other ones would stay in there pretty snug. It was a pretty tight fit on previous versions, and this one's really loose. What the hell's going on? I don't like that. My wife probably really not going to like that. Probably return it. I don't know, but that's not good. Anyways, just be aware that the band is not a good fit. The stock band is freaking loose as hell inside here. So that's not good. Come on, Google. You got to get your shit together. I mean, this is kind of embarrassing, honestly. Like, I doubt the Apple Watch does that. Samsung doesn't do that. Like, come on now. Moving on. So, as I mentioned, LTPO AMOLED display, Android Wear OS 6, Qualcomm Snapdragon W5 Gen 2. That's a 4 nanometer CPU. Now, that CPU is quad core with Cortex A53 cores. It has the GPU, the Adreno A702 GPU. eMMC storage. Interesting. Loudspeaker, yes. It has Wi-Fi 6, dual band Wi-Fi 6. It has Bluetooth 6.0, GPS, NFC. Let's see what else we got here. Charging is wired 50% in 15 minutes, 80% in 30 minutes, and 100% in 60 minutes. And they have this in matte black, polished silver, champagne gold, and satin moonstone. Again, this is the moonstone. So I believe it starts out right around $349, $350 for this. They do have good deals. If you have a previous Pixel Watch, you can get, they knock a considerable amount of money off if you trade in with a previous generation. But interesting, it sucks with the bands, how loose they are. But it is what it is. And is that going to come off easily? No, that stays on there pretty good. So, cool. Well, let's see. You have, I'm assuming that's a microphone. Is this IP waterproof? Yes, IP68 dust and water resistant. Let's see here. What about this side? So that's the connector. I'm assuming that's the speaker as well. I'm not sure if you can actually it looks hollow in there, and it looks like there's a teeny tiny mesh grill in there. So I'm assuming that's where the speaker is. You have a button here. You have a dial here. And one thing they did this year is the AMOLED display. So the bezel on here, you can't see it because it's a black dial. You're gonna have a black bezel, you know, like what goes around the edges of your phone here, the little bezel that borders the AMOLED display. This bezel on here actually got smaller. So they not only increased the size of the display, they also shrunk the bezel. So that's why it looks so much bigger than previous generations. But they actually, since shrinking the bezel, the AMOLED display actually goes out farther, almost all the way to the border around the radius here of that display. I guess you could tell right there. So it's not all the way, because you can tell here, there's the bottom, that little black bezel, but it has shrunk, the display has gotten bigger inside this dial. So it comes out a little more to the edge, definitely more than in previous years. So that's the Pixel Watch 4 released today. I'm going to put a link in the video description if you want to get one. Just be on the lookout for the loose bands. Now, you know what? I have this other band. Let me put this other band on there and see if that's loose. I don't see why it should. I mean, well, let's try it. So, okay. So this one comes off and then we'll get out of here. So let's push this one in. Let's put the large band on. And again, it only came with 2 of these and 1 of these. In previous years, they'd give you a pair for small and a pair for big. And this year, they only give you 1 big one. It's not too interesting. So let's go ahead and snap this on here. And let's see the fit. Damn, that's loose too. What the hell is going on? Is that on? It's on. That flexes way too much. Well, I'm not going to be the one wearing it, but we'll see what she says. I'm probably going to return this, but not good from Google. So be on the lookout for that. If that bothers you, you're probably not going to like it. If you don't care, then you don't care. But it should be a good watch other than the band being loose. But again, Apple Watch, that's not the case. And Samsung watches, that's not the case. So I think they need to go back to the drawing board and redo these connectors for these bands. But I'll leave a link in the description if you want to grab one of these. Be my guest. And stay tuned to the channel. I'll let you know what we're going to do with this. May contact Google because I'm not sure it's supposed to be that way. But I don't see any other way because the bands are in there. So, whatever. I'll deal with that. Appreciate the time. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.